today I can't wait because we're gonna review my favorite Zelda game. Where did here it is. Majora's Mask. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Seriously guys, words cannot describe how much I love this game. There's so much about it to love. There's the side quests. What the? Star Fox Zero?
Hey, look, it's my newest game. Can you review that instead?
Fox McCloud? What are you doing here?
I heard that you were reviewing my latest game and I had to show up for it.
What? No. I plan to review Majora's Mask. My favorite Zelda game.
Play.
2 hours later.
Okay, fine. I'll review it. Gosh, you're annoying. Yay! And, yeah, there we go. See, the game, uses motion controls, which was a very polarizing decision.
So, with all that out of the way, let's take a look at Fox McCloud's most divisive game. Hey, what? It's true. Star Fox Zero. Released in April 2016 for the Wii U, it's the first Star Fox game in 5 years, not 10. Seriously, it gets on my nerves when people say Zero was the first Star Fox game in 10 years. We had 64 3D in 2011. Sure, it was a remake, but it's still a game in the Star Fox series. Geesh. Anyways, it was developed by Nintendo and Platinum Games, so let's get into the story. Star Fox Zero is a reboot of Star Fox 64, which means the story is, well, pretty much the same thing, but the levels and game design are completely different. So, for the three of you who haven't heard this story, once upon a time, in the Lilat system, a galaxy far, far away, Andross, an evil scientist, was banished to the barren planet Venom by General Pepper. 5 years later, General Pepper noticed strange activity coming from Venom. So, he sent Peppy Hare, Pigmadangar, and James McCloud, who were part of a mercenary team called Star Fox, led by James. And seriously, James looks like Fox, but with sunglasses. If Fox could find a pair of sunglasses, he could masquerade as his dad.
Hey, Fox. Whoa, you're James McCloud! Hey, Fox, your dad's here. Where's Fox?
Anyway, Pigma betrayed the team and helped Andross, probably due to a money bribe. And in the chaos that followed, James sacrificed himself to create a diversion so that Peppy could escape. Peppy returned home and told James's son Fox about his father's fate. At the same time, Peppy delivered the news that Andross had built a terrifyingly huge army and intended to conquer the entire Lilat system. And so began the Lilat Wars. 5 years later, Fox McCloud builds a new Star Fox team with some of his closest friends and most trusted allies. Slippy Toad, Fox's best friend and a gifted mechanic, and also the world's worst pilot! Falco Lombardi, a hotshot flyboy, but also one of the best pilots that Fox has ever known. Think of him as the Raphael of the group, the cool jerk who probably wants to be the leader, but isn't. Finally, there's Peppy Hare, Fox's dad's old wingman, who's the glue that holds the team together. That all leads up to now, where the new Star Fox team gets an emergency call from General Pepper. Apparently, Corneria City is under attack, and they have to come and help.
Yeah, take that. Yeah.
So this is where Star Fox Zero's main criticism comes into play. The motion controls. Basically, you have a third-person view of your ship on the TV, while on the gamepad, you have a view from the cockpit. I guess people have trouble juggling between two screens at once, but really, I didn't really have any problem with it. I mean, you can press the minus button at any time to switch the two views, and the motion controls didn't take that long for me to get used to. I got used to it after the first level, but some other people took them longer if they got used to it at all. So, after we save Corneria, we head to the next level, Sector Alpha, where we unlock a new vehicle. This odd-looking vehicle is the Walker, which... why is it a chicken?
That was Slippy's idea.
Sure it was. Yeah, Fox.
Squidward! 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 Squidward!
Anyways, the Walker actually came from the unreleased Super Nintendo game Star Fox 2, which was scheduled to be released in summer of 1995, but due to the impending release of the Nintendo 64, they axed it last minute. Honestly, I love the Chicken Walker, and I can't get enough of the darn thing. It can sneak through small spaces that the R-Wing can't get through, and it has all the same fixins, like the barrel roll, the somersault, and it's more nimble than the Landmaster, so it's a perfect crossover between the two. It can also hover, which is a nice plus. So after Sector Alpha, we head to Area 3 Space Ring Colony. It starts with a space battle, but once you get inside, you have to sneak through the tunnels to find one of the Cornerian Army's vehicles, which is the worst vehicle in the game. The gyro wing. It's slow, cumbersome, and overall a huge deviation from what we're used to, the fast-paced Star Fox action. A lot of people don't like this vehicle, and I am one of them. It doesn't even get a cool transformation like the other two vehicles. Instead, it gets a little robot that can hack things, which becomes pretty obsolete once the Walker gains the power to hack. So, after we get a bad pie joke, we have to hack the Gigorilla's butt, which, yes, is as weird as it sounds. And... so this is the Gigorilla, or as I like to call him, Robo Harambe, a weapon from Andross's army that was stolen by the Cornerian army, but now Andross's army is trying to steal it back. You get to control him by leading him wherever you want and destroying Andross's ships. It's pretty cool, actually. So after this, there's a really boring gyroing mission that I didn't want to show. You're welcome. So after that really boring gyroing level, we have Sector Beta, where we get to participate in a fight between Andross's army and the Cornerian army. It's pretty cool. Dogs versus monkeys. And this happens. Boy, I wish the R-Wing could have sunglasses during that segment. So after that, we fight Star Wolf, a team of rival mercenaries hired by Andross who are out for Star Fox and a paycheck. The team consists of Wolf O'Donnell, Fox McCloud's arch-rival who had history with his dad, Leon Powalski, a chameleon who seems to have some sort of history with Falco, Pigma Dangar, Peppy's former friend and a member of the original Star Fox team before he betrayed James, and Andrew Oigany, the worst member of Star Wolf, so naturally he'd have a rivalry with Slippy. He's also Andross's nephew, so I guess you could say he's a chimp off the old block. LS, please stop. You're not funny. So, if you beat Star Wolf, emphasis on the if, because you can actually lose to Star Wolf, and if you do, you will be taken to a different mission than if you win. And this is where Star Fox Zero really opens up. See, there are tons of alternate paths and routes in the game. It can be from, finding a special guest, like Bill, a member of the Cornerian army, who is Fox's old friend, or Cat, Cat, who has an affiliation with Falco and is his possible love interest, to fighting Star Wolf, to protecting the Great Fox. And each way to get to these alternate missions is different. Sometimes you have to press secret switches, follow members of Star Wolf. It really depends. So, get looking. Yeah. Because I'm sure as heck not saying them all in the video, because that would spoil the fun. Okay, I will say one, and it's a really awesome one. So, there's a special level where, I guess, spoiler alert. There's a special level where you get to play as Peppy, and every time you do a barrel roll, he says barrel roll.
It's really hilarious. For the first 20 seconds.
There's also some amiibo support. If you have my amiibo, you can unlock the retro R-Wing from the SNES Star Fox in all of its low poly glory. It even plays some of the music from the SNES game. It can also transform into the Retro Walker from my unreleased game, Star Fox 2. And if you have Falco's amiibo, you unlock the Black R-Wing. It's basically like a hard mode. If you're looking for an extra challenge, use this. It takes 3 times more damage, but it also shoots 3 times more damage. So you have more firepower, but you're also weaker. So, now back to the main story stuff. Next, we head to Sector Omega. Seriously, why are these sectors named after Greek letters? And honestly, this is my favorite level in the game. It's super fast-paced, and at the same time, it's a callback to the first Star Fox with the black hole level, and it's completely different because it's super fast. And also, I love the music. And there are 2 guys out there, and they know who they are. This is the music that I'm always singing, Dew, 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 dew. So, back to the story. You see Venom in the distance, and you think you're about to reach it, but all of a sudden, Venom disappears. The whole planet, gone. And it turns out that Andross teleported it away. So, instead of getting to Venom, you fight a surprise boss. This boss is also a throwback. He's a throwback to 64 and the first Star Fox. You fought both of them, but this time, he's completely different. You fight him in all range mode instead of on rails, and during certain parts, he'll shoot out lasers, in which you get to play what I like to call R-Wing jump rope. After that, General Pepper calls the team back to Corneria, as he says even though Venom has disappeared, there's still a way to reach Andross. And this level is yet another callback, which is pretty cool. So it's a callback to the first Star Fox, because it takes place during the sunset, as opposed to the daytime. Which makes me wonder, how long did the events of this game last? Did the events of this game take place in one day? So the Star Fox team traveled across the entire solar system in one day. Also, the music right here reminds me a lot of Sonic Unleashed. I can't be the only one that thinks that, right? So you meet up with General Pepper, but he gets teleported to who knows where thanks to Andross, and Robo Harambe returns. So you fight it as a boss, and it's actually pretty hard. Its hits deal a ton of damage, and there are some moments where you have to barrel roll for your life or turn into a walker. So after you hack his butt, again, seriously, what is up with this game and butt hacking? Andross's hologram appears, and he taunts Fox, so Fox heads into the teleporter, alone. So when Fox finally gets out of the teleporter, we get a huge backstory dump. Yada yada yada, they originally developed the technology with Andross to bring peace to the galaxy. Yada yada yada, he grew mad with power. Yada yada yada, they banished him to another dimension. So this is this game's version of Venom. A giant mechanized rock that serves as a teleportation device. And yes, I know, it looks like the Death Star. So we fight Starwolf for the final time, alone. And this happens. Ah, come on. Why do they get wolves but I get a chicken? I don't know, Fox. I don't know. Honestly, this is my favorite Starwolf fight in the entire Star Fox series. I just love what you can do. You can go into the little ravines and valleys, or you can both transform into your chicken walkers and hunters. You can both fight each other on the ground or in the air, or one can be on the ground and in the air, or you can be in the air and they're on the ground. There's so many different possibilities and it's so fun. So you finally beat Wolf, he makes a racist comment, and it's the climactic entrance into the enemy's lair. But wait, not yet. Instead you get led by James McCloud? Ghost Dad. Yeah, you get led by Ghost Dad through a series of portals and tunnels until you finally reach Andross. This is Andross, who for some reason is a giant disembodied monkey head. The real reason he's a monkey head is because he performed a bunch of experiments on himself. I know that, Fox. So, there are a bunch of holes around there, and the only way to get inside is by looking through the cockpit view. So, that's the only way you can see the inside. And once you get inside, you fight him like normal Andross. You know, shoot the hands first. But there are some new tricks. First off, you can only fight him as a walker. And he has some new moves, like trying to eat you, and doing this little thing that I like to call laser jump rope. Also, there's a huge difficulty spike with Andross. Like when he gets Andross, the difficulty goes from 1 to 100. Be ready. Also, during this fight, Andross will taunt you by saying all kinds of weird stuff. So, after Fox beats Andross, he tries to escape. But Andross isn't gonna let him get away that easy. Once again, Andross repeatedly attempts to eat Fox, but then Ghost Dad appears to hold Andross back, and Fox escapes. So Fox greets his friends and looks around for his dad, who isn't there. And this part always brings me to tears. So the team heads back to Corneria to be awarded for their work.
Star Fox, we are forever in your debt. There's a place for you in the Cornerian army, if you want it.
Sorry, General. We like doing things our own way. Star Fox, move out!
And of course, it wouldn't be Star Fox 64 without the team running through the obligatory out-of-nowhere desert, even though the Great Fox is right next to them. But this time they're in their walkers, and Slippy still lags behind, which proves that he's the least athletic of the group.
But wait, he's in a vehicle.
Shut up. So the team flies off into the sunset, and we get a tribute to Satoru Iwata, which is really genuinely touching. And the game ends with a lovely piano piece, which I cannot get enough of. And that's Star Fox Zero. Okay, so a lot of people are worried about the future of Star Fox. I mean, Zero's sales were only decent at best, and its reception was very, very mixed. And it seems like what Nintendo thinks the series is different from what fans think the series is. So right now is a very strange time for Fox McCloud. I mean, people don't want Star Fox to die, but they also don't want Nintendo to just keep rebooting it and doing the same story over again with new gimmicks like motion controls. Honestly though, I'm not worried. I mean, Miyamoto and Platinum have both expressed interest in working on a sequel to Zero. And Star Fox is one of those franchises that people will love no matter what. As for right now though, I recommend picking up Star Fox Zero. I mean, the motion controls take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do, it's a great game. And it has plenty of differences with 64 to make it its own game. And it's not all just 64, it's a little bit 64, a little bit of the first Star Fox, a little bit of Star Fox 2. I also recommend picking up the physical copies because they're cheaper than the digital ones. And yeah, Star Fox Zero is honestly my favorite Wii U game. And I'm sure literally no one will agree with me on that.
I wonder what the next review's gonna be.
Yeah, I was wondering.
It won. Sliding score. And today, we're finally gonna review my favorite Zelda game, Majora's Mask.
You should be reviewing Breath of the Wild.
Excuse me for just 1 second. Shut up. Alright, so after that brief detour we took in the last episode of Star Fox Zero, let's finally get back on track and...
Yeesh, in the first episode, the review doesn't even go as planned. What, are you trying to confuse people?
We are not confusing the fan base.
What fan base?
Excuse me for just 1 second. Shut up! Alright, without any more interruptions, let's finally review The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. Are you kidding me? It happened again. Super Mario Galaxy 2? I love this game. It's my favorite Mario game. Majora's Mask. It's my favorite Zelda game. Mario or Zelda? fine, I'll review Mario. But we're reviewing Majora's Mask next time.
Super Mario Galaxy 2, released in May 2010 for the Wii. It's a sequel to the universally acclaimed Super Mario Galaxy. Originally, it was just going to be an expansion for the first Super Mario Galaxy, uncreatively titled More Super Mario Galaxy. But after adding new elements, they decided to make it its own game. Like its predecessor, Super Mario Galaxy 2 also received universal acclaim, with many reviews being just as good, if not better, than the first. So now, let's take a look at the box art.
We gotta visualize it.
That sounds stupid. Alright, so we got Mario and Yoshi blasting off to whatever galaxy they're going to. And then there's this random yellow Luma, which is very weird because the Luma that accompanies Mario in the game is white, not yellow. So who is this guy? I mean, you could argue that he's the Player 2 Luma, but the Player 2 Luma is red, not yellow. Alright, so we open the case up and we got a nice manual over here, and what the heck is this? O, C, D. It drives me crazy that the title is slightly slanted. Why? But look at that, it makes no sense. Tell me, if you're compulsive, does that drive you crazy too? So I guess now let's talk about the story.
Do you really have to talk about the story in a Mario game?
You know what? Good point. Do I really have to go over the plot in a Mario game?
Well anyways, shimmering stardust falls on the Mushroom Kingdom once a century, and it's now again that time. Princess Peach invites Mario on a romantic not date to share some cake while they watch the stars. And the game actually starts off in 2D with Mario running past celebrating toads. Eventually Mario comes across a little white Luma sprawled out on the ground. He wakes up and he seems confused, but he immediately takes a liking to Mario, so he decides to stay in his hat. With Luma in his hat, Mario suddenly has the ability to spin. Yeah, because no one can spin unless they have a star in their hat.
Hey, this is Mario logic. Take it easy.
Eventually, Mario starts to notice that a lot more Lumas are appearing frozen in crystals, so he frees them and tries to see what the commotion is all about. As it turns out, a gigantic Bowser is wrecking the castle, and he has a certain somewhat Peach. We all know it's Peach.
Yeah, we knew.
So, Bowser remarks about how he'll have Peach bake him a universal-sized piece of cake.
Boy, does that sound good right about now.
Shut up. And he flies off into the sky. So one of the Lumas decides to turn into a warp star to send Mario into space, where he can hunt down Bowser. When Mario eventually lands, he lands in the Sky Station Galaxy. He finds a Luma who tells him that Bowser stole their power stars. Overall, for a first level, it's pretty good. It teaches you that you can kill enemies by spinning, and that you can run completely around certain platforms. Eventually Mario lands on and cracks an egg, and out of it emerges... This is Pee-wee Piranha, the game's first boss. And as the first boss goes, he's pretty good. I mean, sure, he's really easy, but there's some strategy involved. Like you have to make sharp turns to get to his behind him, and you also fight him on a 360 planetoid, showing you how most of the boss battles in this game will work. Though that does raise some questions. Like, If each galaxy is a level, does that mean that each platform is a planet? Well, in that case, we're dealing with some very small planets. So Mario brutally murders the baby by beating its butt, and a power star emerges from it, which should be gold and not clear, but just ignore that. You know, you really need to work on your continuity. Oh yeah, well at least my series has continuity.
Burn! Burn!
After Mario collects the Power Star, he lands on the spaceship and he meets a purple guy named Lubba. Lubba remarks about how when Bowser attacked his ship, some members of his crew were thrown overboard and Bowser stole some of his Power Stars. So now the ship is low on fuel, as Power Stars are the fuel for the spaceship. Luma pops out of Mario's hat and Lubba immediately recognizes him as his master. So he asks Mario some questions with really vague answers. Seriously, what's the difference between yes and that's right? So the two work out an agreement that Mario will help them get Power Stars and they'll help him find Bowser, and Lubba converts the spaceship into resembling Mario's face. So Mario has to collect Power Stars from various galaxies to power the ship so they can eventually reach Bowser. World 1 has a nice assortment of galaxies that introduce you to the platforming and gravity mechanics, enemy variety, and a few power-ups. The galaxies are very diverse, with no two looking the same. Each one has its own atmosphere and enemies. It's nice to see that each galaxy has its own personality and feel, as well as its own music. Of course, some tracks do get recycled, but for the most part, most of the galaxies have original music. Eventually, Mario makes it to Bowser Jr.'s fiery flotilla. Flotilla? Bowser Jr.'s fiery flotilla, and there he searches for Bowser Jr. Eventually, Mario finds him, but then Bowser Jr. releases his pet, Gobblegut. So this is Gobblegut, and I just can't take this thing seriously. I mean, look how goofy he looks. So Mario defeats Gobblegut and he explodes, and Mario gets a Grand Star from him. So Mario brings the Grand Star back, and it opens up a portal to the next world. So World 2's galaxies improve on the mechanics established in World 1's galaxies while introducing new power-ups, having a grander scale, and prettier atmospheres. Also, some of these level designs are super creative. I mean, look at this! Mario makes it to Bowser's lava lair, where it is clear that he is not welcome. The place is full with a bunch of traps, obstacles, and enemies trying to take you down. Some notable ones include these floating lava death flipper thingies, these strange skeleton carpet munchers, and lasers that shoot across this pixely bridge thing. Gee, Bowser is really creative when it comes to obstacles. So Mario makes it to Bowser's lair where he's sitting on the world's biggest throne and he's just waiting. It seemed like he was waiting for Mario to come. If that was the case, why did he have all those traps and obstacles? Kind of defeats the purpose. And why is he just sitting there waiting? Shouldn't he be doing evil things or something? Why is he just waiting? Like, what is he, listening to some podcasts? Drinking some coffee? So Bowser finally gets off his lazy butt and roars Mario onto a platform where they must fight. So, the battle between Bowser and Mario ensues, and it's actually really cool. Bowser calls meteors down to the planet, and then he punches the planet, and you have to use the meteors to hit him. Then he remembers that he can just breathe fire and kill Mario instantly, so he tries that, but for some reason he can't seem to aim right. Somehow Mario manages to win, and Bowser pukes up a Grand Star, which once again should be gold and not clear, but just ignore that. You know, you really need to work on your... Don't say a word. So Bowser says that Mario's annoyingly hard to squish, and then he says his plan is off to the next phase, so he just leaves. So Mario and Luma collect the second Grand Star and move on to World 3 and... I'm gonna be here forever if I talk about each individual galaxy. Time for double triple time. Mario travels to World 3 where he goes through more galaxies and gets yet more Power Stars. Then he finds Bowser Jr. again and fights him and his robot Mega Hammer while riding on Yoshi in a pretty epic fight. Next, Mario goes through World 4 where he travels through more galaxies and collects yet more Power Stars, and then he fights Bowser again. Then Mario travels to World 5, which has a pretty complex and difficult handful of galaxies. World 5 ends with a battle against Bowser Jr. and his not so cleverly named Boomsday Machine, though it is pretty unique. And let's stop right there for now. Now, the thing that people have debated for years was whether SMG2 was open world or not. And, well, there are two ways in which a Mario game can be open world. It can have open world level selection, and it can have open world world design. And yes, that's needlessly redundant. A game with open world level selection lets you play the levels in whichever order you want. And SMG2, for the most part, lets you do this. In a game with open world world design, the worlds are very open and you can explore wherever you want. Galaxy 2 does not let you do this. Its worlds have a certain path that you have to follow in order to reach an end point. Games like Mario 64 and Sunshine have both open world level selection and world design, while the Galaxy games only have open world level selection, and 3D World has neither open world level selection or world design. Of course, it wouldn't be a Mario game without power-ups, and there are plenty of them here. There's the Rock Mushroom, which allows Mario to roll into a ball to cover great distances and to ram into things. The Cloud Flower, which allows Mario to create platforms made of clouds to get to greater heights or to ride the wind, but for some reason he can't touch water while wearing it or else he'll lose it.
Oh, can I do the next one?
Sure, fine, whatever. Go ahead.
There's also the Spin Drill, which allows Mario to drill through the ground to reach new areas. And to beat the crap out of robots like a bitch.
That's enough. Moving on, there's the Boo Mushroom, which turns Mario into a ghost. With it, he can float and go through walls. Then there's the Spring Mushroom, which turns Mario into a spring. And it sucks. It's super hard to control. I mean, look at this. Okay, come on. Complete! Finally, there's the classic Fire Flower, which also kind of sucks. Thanks to motion controls. Okay, look, to shoot a fireball, you have to swing the Wii Remote, which only works when it wants to. And you'll look really stupid while doing it. But don't worry, you can't look as stupid as me. This is made even worse by the fact that the spin, one of the primary attacks that you'll be doing throughout the entire game, is done by swinging the Wii Remote. There are also entire levels dedicated to using nothing but the motion controls, like riding this bird, which to be fair isn't that bad. But then there are these levels where Mario is rolling on a ball which is completely controlled by motion controls, and it's horrible! It's so hard to control! And it sucks even more because I can't play like a lazy gamer. Instead I gotta play like this. Thankfully, there are only 3 or 4 levels like this in the entire game. Back on the subject of power-ups, Yoshi gets some too, like the Dash Pepper, which makes him go super fast, and the Blimp Fruit, which makes him float like a balloon, though he also pops like a balloon if he hits anything sharp. I love most of the new power-ups, with the Cloud Flower and Blimp Fruit being my personal favorites. During his travels, Mario meets the colorful residents of these different galaxies, like the Star Bunnies, adorable bunnies with stars on their ears that jump and spin like crazy, Jibberjays, birds with giant beaks who love to race, sassy penguins who love to talk fast, Gearmos, cute little robots who like to put everybody to work, Toads who somehow got to space, led by the Toad Brigade captain, who acts tough, but he's really just a coward, though he eventually got his own game. And Whittles! They're little wooden people who talk in broken English, and they're just so adorable. I mean, look at them. I just want to squeeze their little wooden cheeks.
But wouldn't you get a splinter?
Shut up. Eventually, you can meet hungry Lumas, and when you feed them enough power stars, they turn into new galaxies. On the subject of bosses, there's a huge variety of them, and they're all very colorful. Sure, some of them might look a bit goofy, but most of them are fun to fight, with a few exceptions. Some of them are really annoying, like this guy and this guy. But when you beat him, it's oh so satisfying. Nah, bleep you. The bosses can be beaten either by using some power-up that you've been using throughout most of the level, using Yoshi, sometimes just spinning, or by using some gimmick that you've used throughout the level. At the end of each of the 6 worlds, you fight a boss, which is either one of Bowser Jr.'s minions, or Bowser, and the same mechanics apply to them, but they're bigger, harder, and meaner than the others. Now you've probably noticed it by now that this game has a beautiful soundtrack. It's fully orchestrated and it makes everything feel so huge, which is a very good feeling for a space-themed game to have. And it's just so gorgeous. I mean, listen to it. The Mario Galaxy games even have their own orchestra. No joke! So, back to the main story. Eventually Mario makes it to World 6, which has the most difficult assortment of galaxies. Seriously, there's a huge difficulty spike. The galaxies in World 6 are wicked hard! After braving World 6, Mario makes it to Bowser's Galaxy Generator. In this fortified fortress, he has to overcome many obstacles and enemies who all want him dead. This level's not so much hard as it is long, with many obstacles and enemies, like I said earlier. Mario and Luma reach Bowser where he's once again waiting. So the climactic final battle begins, and it's the exact same thing as before, except this time there are pink lasers. Once again, Mario manages to defy the odds and beat Bowser, and he falls to his death. Not! So Bowser eats the Power Star, then grows big again and tells Mario this is the end. So Bowser opens up a black hole in one last-ditch attempt to finish off Mario. But Mario deals the final blow and Bowser monologues. Roark! My powers gone. My empire shrinking. My huge cake never got a slice.
That cake still sounds good.
Shut up! Bowser falls into the black hole and it implodes. Mario and Luma land somewhere in space, and they see Peach holding on to the Grand Star. They land back on Starship Mario, and then they see an observatory appear, along with Rosalina, who was added to this game as an afterthought. Luma bids farewell to Mario, and then he leaves with his mom, and he takes Mario's hat with him, which is actually pretty funny. Then Mario, Peach, and Lubba head back to Earth. The game ends with a beautiful score, and we see the team head back to previous areas on their way back home. And Whittles! We also see that Bowser shrank, and now he's all tiny. Then the team makes it back home, and we see that Peach has finally made that huge cake. Yay! I also love how you can control Mario during the credits. completely sapping away any seriousness.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
You're welcome, Mario. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is a masterpiece. The music is beautiful, the graphics are gorgeous, the story is, the gameplay is tight, and the game is absolutely packed with content. I mean, after you collect all 120 stars, the game lets you collect 120 more. I mean, talk about content. This game will keep you entertained for a very long time. And I just have so much nostalgia with this game, and that's the biggest reason of why I love it so much. And like I said before, it's my favorite Mario game. And that is a pretty big thing to say.
Alright guys, make sure to share, like, comment, and bash that subscribe button. Because if you don't, you'll be punished for insubordination. Alright guys, take care. Bye. Thanks for playing Mario Party with me, Fox.
Yeah, sure thing, LS. But do you not have anyone else to play with?
No, I don't. Mostly because I have no friends. Oh, dang it! What the?
What are those?
Oh, these are note cards when I was the host of that Video Game Character Awards show from last year.
Oh, you mean...
Welcome everyone to the Video Game Character Awards of 2016. Thank you all for coming. And now, we will declare the winner of the Best Video Game Character for 2016. Let me remind you that the winner will receive this Turmoil Sapphire, a powerful relic.
I'm so excited. We all know I'm gonna win.
Now let's see who the winner is. This character is from a long-running video game franchise, started in about the early 90s.
My series started in the early 90s.
He's a fox,
I'm a fox,
and he flies a plane.
and I fly a plane.
And the winner of the Best Video Game Character Award of 2016 goes to Miles Tails Prowl from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise.
What?
Woohoo! I can't believe I won! Here you go, Tails. Here is your Turmoil Sapphire. Thanks! Ah, good times. Man, that suit was big on me. You aren't still mad that you lost to Tails, are you?
No, it's just that my series is way better than his.
Well, that's all up to personal preference.
No, my series is better, and we'll prove it by reviewing one of the Shining games.
No, I was planning to review Majora's Mask next. I mean, we've already delayed that twice. I mean, there's no need to review a Sonic game in the middle.
Review a Shining game.
Hey, G. Nah, too divisive, even though I love it. Nah, the voice acting and facial expressions are horrendous and awkward. Colors. finally gonna review Majora's Mask. Actually, we're not gonna review Majora's Mask. Instead, we're gonna review Sonic Colors. Alright, so I'm sure a lot of you are wondering where I've been. Well, I've been busy with a lot of things.
School, work, worrying about the impending possibility of World War III.
But what I've been doing most is what I'm sure most of you have been doing. I've been jamming to the Sonic Forces soundtrack.
Okay, now that I've completely humiliated myself, let's look at the box art.
So, we gotta visualize it.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, so we got some nice box art here with Sonic and all the wisps and... What the heck? O C D. Why is Sonic's left foot missing? My compulsiveness just doesn't allow me to let that go. So we open it up and we get a nice disc and a nice manual. That's completely in black and white. Bleepin' cheapos. I should probably be talking about the game by now. Geesh, we're almost 6 minutes into the video. So without further ado, let's do that, shall we? Sonic Colors. Released in November 2010 for the Wii, it was the first well-received Sonic game after a period of not so well-received Sonic games. In 2004 there was Shadow the Hedgehog, which most people didn't like. In 2006 there was Sonic 06, which was and in 2008 there was Sonic Unleashed, which, even though I love it, we had a pretty mixed reception. Believe it or not, Unleashed was actually my first Sonic game. I got it when it first came out back in 2008, and my gosh, Unleashed is almost 10 years old. I feel so old. When it was released, Colors was praised for being a great Sonic game. And do I think it deserves all that praise? Well, let's find out. And we'll start with the story. So when you start up the game, it actually opens with 2 levels instead of a cutscene, which is very strange. So 2 levels in, we finally get our first cutscene, which shows Sonic and Tails sneaking into Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park. That's right, Eggman built an amusement park in space. And it's completely deserted. I'm serious. We never see any people here. Sonic and Tails are like the only 2 here. When they get there, they take a look around and they find Orbot and Cubot chasing 2 aliens. And we see the game's first attempt at humor.
Oh, little aliens! Your voice chip is stuck on Cowboy again. Stop talking and net those aliens. Come on here, you little varmints. Come back here.
And it's not funny. Sonic rescues them, and then one of them goes inside of him, and he gets crazy new powers. Meanwhile, Tails tries to build a translator to understand what the aliens are saying. Eventually, Sonic finds Eggman, who has collected a lot of aliens and is trying to harness their energy.
Stop me. I know I say that every time, but this time really nothing will stop me. What? Sonic!
Who you calling nothing?
Huh? He means since the boss said nothing will stop me, and Sonic here is going to stop him, it's like the boss was calling Sonic nothing.
They're just saying what's painfully obvious. That's not funny.
Great! I thought nobody would get that.
Oh, we got it. Yeah, we got it.
So Eggman releases a boss to stall Sonic, but he defeats it pretty easily. So Sonic meets back up with Tails, who's finally finished the translator, and we get some painfully unfunny attempts at humor.
Okay, ask away.
Who are you, and what is happening to your people?
Okay, he says his name is Talks a Lot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where flowers water them with dances.
Groan.
I think your machine still has some bugs.
Yeah, I think I can figure this out, though. Okay, he said his name is Yacker. He's from a race of beings called Wisps.
Lisps?
No, Wisps, with a W.
Yeah, I'll just stick with aliens if that's okay with everybody.
Cringe.
Oh, sure. So anyway, they're either being used for their magical powers by an evil man, or to make underwear to be worn by Salad.
Wince.
Here, save them over and over.
When I was running around trashing robots, I saw a map that had a couple of interesting places. I think I'll go check them out, and maybe save some aliens.
Meanwhile, Orbot and Cubot clean up the scraps of the boss.
Man said to wrangle every piece of this mess. When you consider what we're doing from a robot's point of view, it's actually pretty gruesome.
Don't think about it.
Did you laugh at a Sonic joke?
No.
Did you laugh at a Sonic joke? Did you
No,
laugh
no, I
at
didn't,
a
I didn't, I
Sonic
didn't, I
joke?
didn't.
Okay, to be fair, that made me snicker. Unfortunately, it's followed by more unfunny dialogue.
Y'all reckon you'll be able to get yourself enough of that energy to take over the whole dang planet?
Yes, I reckon I will. Where is your new voice chip?
Got it right here, sir. Just need to install it. The think bone's connected to the talk bone. The talk bone's connected to the mouth bone. There. Good as new.
Finally. I don't think anything could have been more annoying than that cowboy chatter.
Feeling ship-shape with me new voice chip I am. Begging your pardon, Squire, but me and me matey are gonna sail off and search for that lubber Sonic.
Sonic learns that Eggman has captured 5 planets and attached them to the amusement park via tethers. There's Sweet Mountain, a world made completely out of candy and desserts. Starlight Carnival, which is an armada of party ships and fireworks in space. Planet Wisp, which is the homeworld of the Wisps that's being torn down and polluted by Eggman. Aquarium Park, a world built underwater with fish, crabs, and other sea creatures. And Asteroid Coaster, which is full of roller coasters that are surrounded by asteroids. Sonic also learns that the Wisps are full of a powerful energy called hypergoons that Eggman is trying to drain from them and use for some evil purpose. So it's up to Sonic to go to each planet, find the generator, defeat the boss guarding the generator, and turn it off. The story is very simple for a Sonic game. Heck, it's a borderline Mario story. Same thing happens each time with Sonic going to turn off the generator and having some small talk with the boss. The only time something different happens is when Eggman shoots Tails with a mind control beam, but that doesn't lead to anything as it runs out of juice immediately after. I'm not asking too much from the plot of a game about a blue hedgehog, but more than this, there are a lot of jokes they throw at you, and none of them are ever funny.
Hey, did somebody here order a clobbering? Are you sure? It says somebody ordered an extra large clobbering topped with everything. Okay. Tell you what, I can't take this thing back, so I'll give you an extra large clobbering for nothing.
Shut up!
The only time I laughed, aside from the gruesome scene, was this scene.
impressed myself. For a second there, I wasn't sure I was going to pull it off. Oh, who am I kidding? We both knew how this would end.
Are you talking to the broken robot who can't hear you?
Maybe. That's between me and the robot.
Like I said earlier, Colors was praised for being an amazing Sonic game. And, well, I just don't agree with that. Don't get me wrong, Colors is a really good game. It's just that there's too much 2D. The game is about 80% 2D, and most of the 2D isn't even that fast. It's actually pretty slow. The 2D sections are mainly about platforming, which can get a bit wonky at times with Sonic's weird jump arc. That's not to say that the 2D sections are bad. They're fun. It's just that there's a little too much 2D in what's supposed to be a 3D Sonic game. Colors has 6 worlds, each with about 6 stages and a boss. However, only half of the stages in each world are full-on stages. The rest of them are all little mini-stages that are pretty short. So beating Colors will probably take about 7 to 8 hours. Keep in mind this is just the main game. It'll take longer if you're trying to collect all the red rings to unlock Super Sonic, which I did not do for this playthrough. With the exception of the final boss, Colors has 6 bosses. Oops, I mean Colors has 3 bosses, because the last 3 bosses are just repeats of the first 3, which is really weird. Like, were they out of ideas for bosses, or was it due to time constraints? Anyways, while bosses 1 and 4 and 2 and 5 are okay bosses, like most of the game they're in 2D, bosses 3 and 6 are awesome! First off, they're actually in 3D, and the way they're designed is great. You start off by having to run up to them while avoiding their fire, and then you get to start destroying them and tearing them apart, and it's awesome! Seriously, this is how you design a 3D Sonic boss. So the main gimmick of Sonic Colors is the Wisps, the little aliens that Eggman is trying to capture. They act as power-ups and give Sonic unique abilities. There's Laser, which makes Sonic shoot forward and destroy any enemy in his path. It can also be used to find shortcuts. There's Drill, which can be used to drill underground and underwater. Rocket, which is my least favorite and actually kinda sucks. All it does is allow you to shoot straight up, and if there's anything blocking your path, you're not going anywhere. Spike transforms Sonic into a ball of spikes, which then allows him to ride walls and ceilings. Cube turns blue rings into blue cubes and blue cubes into blue rings, and is mainly used to solve certain platforming challenges. Hover allows Sonic to fly and perform lightspeed dashes through trails of rings, and it has some beautiful music. And finally, there's Frenzy, which turns Sonic into a rampaging monster that eats almost anything in sight. The Wisps are mostly situational, only being used to get past certain stage hazards, but every once in a while you'll be able to use a Wisp for whatever you want. The Wisps don't add too much to the gameplay as, like I said before, they're mainly situational. What bothers me though is that most of the Wisps are only used in 2D. Which, like I said before, isn't this supposed to be a 3D Sonic game? Why is the main gimmick of the game only used in 2D? Now, I love Colors' soundtrack, as there are many catchy and memorable tunes. I love Starlight Carnival's theme, which sounds like a fun disco party. Planet Wisp's theme is tranquil and beautiful. Aquarium Park's theme is upbeat and fast-paced. Asteroid Coaster's theme is pure rockin', head-bangin' goodness. Terminal Velocity's theme is also fast-paced and rockin' with some nice metal tunes. And I love the main theme of the game, Reach for the Stars. All of the music and colors is great, with the exception of one song.
Speak With Your Heart is auto-tune garbage.
So back to the story. Sonic finds the factory where the Wisps get converted into the Nega-Wisp energy, and the game tries to lazily shoehorn in some tension by having Yacker go missing.
Sonic, I haven't seen Yacker for a while.
Sonic finds the last generator, and we get some unfunny dialogue.
Yeah, that's right. I'm stretching. You got a problem with that?
He defeats the last boss, and the generator is shut down. And then they decide to party with the Wisps, instead of, getting the bleep out of there. Eggman tries executing the next phase of his plan, but it blows up spectacularly. And Q-Bot gets his voice back, which is somehow even more annoying than his other voices. And Eggman vows to crush Sonic once and for all. The park starts to collapse and Sonic and Tails decide to get out of there.
How about you and me make like Eggman's hairline and recede?
This isn't joke time. This is running to the space elevator time.
Thank you, Tails.
Yeah, thanks, Tails. Wait, no thanks, Tails, you suck.
Before they can get to the elevator, Eggman stops them. Sonic pushes Tails into the elevator, and then fights Eggman. So it's Sonic versus the Nega-Wisp armor in the game's final boss battle. And it's a pretty good final boss. I mean, it's easy, but it's fun. Eggman uses the Wisp's powers against you, and like bosses 3 and 6, you have to avoid his attacks while getting close enough to deal some damage. The weird thing is that you can't use any Wisps during the final boss battle. I mean, they do show up, but only to deal the final blow. And the music here is awesome! It's a climactic remix of Reach for the Stars, and I love it. So Sonic deals the final blow to Eggman, and then he has to get out of the exploding amusement park as fast as he can. There's actually a short level right after the final boss battle, which is very strange. What follows is a needlessly and hilariously dramatic cutscene. The amusement park blows up, the planets are freed, and the Wisps bring Sonic back to Earth. Yacker comes back, they say their goodbyes, do a backhanded high five, and he returns to space. But they couldn't end the game without more unfunny dialogue.
Planned out, and next time I will not fail!
Of course you won't, boss. Of course you won't. On the bright side, a certain someone got their voice back.
I feel like my own self! All I want to do is talk! Hey, remember when we were chasing those little alien guys? What's up with those things anyway? They sure were funny looking! Smell that though?
Did he just say they smelled good?
Smell that though! Smell that though!
Sonic Colors is a really good game, but I don't think it's as amazing and spectacular as everyone else does. There's a little too much 2D for my liking, the story is simple and predictable, and the jokes are painfully unfunny. However, the levels are fun, there's plenty of high-speed action, the soundtrack is awesome, and the game has that Sonic charm. Colors isn't my favorite Sonic game, but I'd say it's in the top 5. If you're a Sonic fan or a fan of platformers, I definitely recommend this game.
Oh yeah, well I say it's awful, it sucks, it's terrible, and it's all because Tails is in it. Tails sucks.
I finally made it! Wait, did you say I suck? Whoa, Miles, Tails, Prower?
You can call me Tails.
What are you doing here?
Came to tell you guys about the...
Duh.
I can't believe you stole that victory from me.
Fox, stop!
Yeah, seriously, Fox. I need you and Lightning's help.
Wait, what?
Well, everyone, that's the end of the video. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed that compilation of the original 3 Shock Sting video. Get your hand off me, Tails. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed all of my scenes. I did have the best scenes after all. I think I'm gonna tell them the secret. No, Fox, you can't tell them the secret. That'll ruin the impact of the... Oh, shut it, Fox boy. Anyways, but you're literally a fox too. And your name is literally Fox. Yeah, but I'm a dashing fox young man. What are you guys doing?
Are you guys telling them the secret?
No.
No.
Well, since Fox and Tails already blabbed, I might as well tell you guys. So, exciting things are on the horizon. Can't say when, but just know that things are coming. New things.
Get off me!
See you guys next time.